And I'll request Manish ji to come on stage because he's part of the next panel as well. With this, I'd also like to invite Rajeev Taneja, Chief Information Officer, Honda Motorcycle and Scooter India Private Limited, to come on stage, please. Huge round of applause for him. I request Mr. Chandan, CIO, Jindal Saw Limited, to come on stage, please. A round of applause for him, please. I request Praveen, Bist, CIO, Amrita Hospitals, to come on stage, please. I also request Prashant, Vashisht, CIO, Marengo Asia Healthcare, to come on stage, please. A huge round of applause for him as well. So as we see, we are having a divergent set of panelists for this panel discussion from the energy sector, from the automobile sector, from the coach sector, and also from the healthcare sector. And I'll be playing the role of moderator, so I'll also join you there. Transformation for the enterprise sector. I'll start with Mr. Manish Grover. If I may ask you, Manishji, how do you define the digital transformation which is taking place in the enterprise sector, keeping in mind the realities of today's digital age? Your thoughts on that?
I think digital transformation today is just not a procedural step. It is a thing which has gone into where we are trying to internalize the operations of the company and make it part of his ethos. It is a process by which we are trying to excel our operations and make our people more skilled, and making it part of the entire process. We are not just taking it a third step outsider which comes and start working around it. So unless and until we make it a part of your business strategy and internalize the same thing, and that is how it is going to be, as I see in the future and as well as today. The last 5 years of our doing and going a path has taught us that unless you create a strategy around it at this level where you have your L1 leadership as part of it and the people who work under you and make them the champions and the sponsors of the ideas, this combination works the best way. And then you try and figure out those gaps which are there in your operations, and the expectations which are there. Technologies change very fast, so we have to deliver those timely. So that becomes a key aspect. And then let's not try to do everything together or do a very big bang thing. In digitalization, it may not work. A company like ours, it is just not possible. With so much of diverse operations, you create those results through pilots, through POCs, and then showcase, run it through your people. And that's where I see that the digital thing and the strategy works. And then you deliver and get it validated, as I was talking earlier, through these cross-functional teams, which is given us the very, very good results in the past. And I'm sure that's how it is going to work in the future as well.
Right. So it's like, it's all about imbibing that culture within the organization of amalgamating tech and innovation into your daily operations and transforming organization accordingly. I'll come to Rajeev Taneja. Rajeev, what are the key drivers of digital transformation? If I may ask you, for the enterprise sector, keeping in mind, suppose you take the example of your company itself. So what are the key drivers when you talk about digital transformation?
I think the drivers may vary from company to company. For us, actually, the digital transformation started post-COVID, and when it was everybody was supposed to work from home, and it was a remote working which we had to start. We being a manufacturing company, automobile company, remote working was not there at all. So we had to cater to business. We had to start working from home, enabling our teams, our associates, to give them equip them with the laptops, because everybody was not even having laptops. So that is how it started. So for us, and the management was, since they were at home, they were not clear of the what is happening in the market. So for us, the main driver was that data-driven decision making, I would say. there was no data readily available for the top management to take decisions. So that was a key driver for us, and that is how we started our journey. We actually we actually gave the real time data to our management. That was a thought, and all our key mission critical parameters like production, dispatches, retail, okay, the factory stock, everything was given to the top management on their mobile real time basis, and that actually helped them to take data driven decision making. I think that was the key driver for us.
So it's like pandemic has accelerated the pace of digital transformation.
Correct.
For your organization.
Correct.
And data driven decision making, that is
Yeah,
very
yeah.
important. I'll come to you on that because there is also a debate about we are having a lot of data, but are we also analyzing that data effectively? Do we using AI or other tools? So I'll come to you on that. We have with us Mr. Chandan Sinha, CIO of Jindal Saw Limited. Chandanji, if I may ask you, you heard about various measures or indicators of digital transformation happening in other two companies, but I'll ask you a different question. We all know that Indian enterprise sector is riding high on digital transformation. But if I may ask you, what are the challenges? If you can list out one or two points where you still think that these are the challenges which needs to be addressed to mitigate the problems of digital transformation for an organization. Your thoughts on that?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so first, it's a common reason for everybody, every manufacturing organization, or for that matter, any business, is accepting change. You see, that is one of the major challenges. Nobody wants to change the way he is working. It's only when and how you can improve. See, operations run. There is a process. After all, in a manufacturing, you are converting something into something, right? So in that entire process or in that entire value chain, if you are able to digitize and make life simpler, make it more efficient, make it more cost effective. Cost is one of the primary parts, but making the processor more efficient, that is one of the key challenges. And if you are able to mitigate that, that becomes a reward. For example, in our case, what we identified was there were a lot of areas in the process where you have to, capture data. So you have these log sheets. So as the manufacturing is happening, you are recording what came in, what happened, how much rejection, etc. All manual log. Then somebody going and entering into the ERP system. Sometimes there is a omission, commission, etc., and all those things are happening. So what we went ahead and did was we gave them a mobile application. Any smart device can be used, and you just have everything from the previous station on your mobile device. You just have to say yes, no. It is passed or it is not passed. Not passed was the reason. Only 3 things, and also through a drop down. So it makes, it cuts down so much amount of activities that were performed earlier. Just by 3 clicks, you are completed the reporting of that particular process. So if you are able to showcase these kind of things, it gets accepted fast. And indirectly what happens, you get more efficient data, correct data, faster data, and then, after all, there is a reduction in the manpower cost also. So on the whole, it's a win-win situation. So such digital transformations, we have done a lot in the past 4-5 years, tried to automate things and use tech to replace, manual entries.
So it's like one is changing the mindset, and also using data or analyzing data effectively for transforming the organization and also increasing efficiency. That's what you're
and making the process
simpler. Yes, I remember we had even a third PSU Tech Conclave last week. There was a speaker. He also he was talking. He was representing government, and he was telling again and again that end of the day, we all have to work together to make things simpler. If we are not making things simpler, there is no digital transformation. I think I think you're also resonating the same kind of thoughts with that. Thank you so much. I'll come to you. But now I think we'll have a different perspective, because till now we had a perspective from the energy sector, from the manufacturing sector, from the automobile sector, and now we'll have a perspective from the healthcare sector. We have with us Praveen Bist, CIO Amrita Hospitals. I think Praveenji, when we talk about digital transformation for the healthcare sector, especially for a hospital, I think there are certain changes which is quite obvious. So, for a hospital, and being a CIO of the hospital, how you're embracing emergent technologies, if I may ask you, in terms of transforming the hospital operation, or increasing efficiency, and at the same time also bringing accountability. So, how it changes for a hospital ecosystem? Your thoughts on that?
Sure. Thank you. That's a very pertinent question. With respect to healthcare, like earlier also our colleague was saying that safety, security is something that you cannot put a very tangible value to, right? So similarly, hospital, what we are doing is we are serving people, we are saving lives. So even a single life saved, there is no good number you can put to. So it always have that challenge, but still. Knowing that digital transformation is a need of the hour, we are doing at various levels. We are putting effort. We are not only looking at the patient perspective. Obviously the patient's expectation have changed, especially post-COVID. Now, people would want services to be delivered at home if possible instead of going to the hospital. So, be it say a blood test, you would not want to go to the hospital, right? You would rather have phlebotomist come over, collect your sample, and then there you go. And then the reports also will be delivered at your mobile app. So that is one side of thing, where the customer is our patient. Patient expectations are changing and changing very fast, and they are obviously in the right spirit, and which is forcing us also to respond to it and to adopt technologies which will be able to meet their expectation. And the second is the employee side of things. So that also, like earlier we were saying, we also in a hospital setting don't have staff working from home. So slowly that shift, at least from the IT side, there are a lot of staff that have made that request, and we have made some changes to allow that, to make it possible. From the clinician perspective, we have also adopted more and more to tele-consultation approach, so tele-radiology approach. So that way, with the comfort of their home or a non-hospital setting also, we could provide a good care. And in terms of what we have done, so we have not only adopted newer technology, but we have looked at the overall end-to-end, including the infrastructure side of things. And one of the key factors, I think, that we are talking so much about digital transformation today is also the advancement in AI, right? And the whole topic, the topic of today's discussion is intelligent business transformation. The intelligence part is being provided to us with the availability of AI tools and technologies, which are really advancing at a great pace. So it's difficult to catch up with the changes in technology, but at the same time, it's a very I would say exciting phase we are all in, where there are technologies which is able to reduce the cost of the care, which is able to provide better care to the patient, and overall it has a great adaptability. So to give an example, breast cancer is on a rapid rise, but today we have like a big mammographic machine that you need to have to screen a patient. But there are AI tools that are available with thermal scanning. You're able to adopt the same workflow, and then you're able to give a better patient care at a much lesser cost, and you can scale it up much faster. So I think there are various ways in which we are trying to meet
Right.
and hopefully beat the expectations.
I think Manish wants to add something.
Yeah, I like to add to what he's saying, and very correctly so. We have seen the impacts, and very recently in the last 6 months, with 5G technology coming in and AI/ML, with a team in northeastern sector of MP Forum, we have looked at how the health, we are running 9 hospitals in our refineries. So here we are trying to work around a hospital management system. Apart from that, we are trying to use technologies. And that is where we have found that some of these AI tools which we can use, and the cloud infrastructure what we have around that, we were able to see the impact of providing a very low cost health benefits to employees and people who are visiting there at a cost. In Northeastern, travel cost is very, very high. One side, travel itself will be more than the cost of the hospital itself. So technologies we are using it, and we have seen the benefits of using it for eye checkup, for ECG, for breast cancer, and many such things. And for food, because these are people who work in my refineries. And if I booked my camp there for 1,000 people, the results are there instantly, because apart from looking at the images which are already there as part of the AI tool, they are able to actually tell you what is the instant results are available. And there are people who are there on the cloud network who look at those results and come back. Even ECG, if there is no doctor available, it is done by a machine which is enabled to attach its results with the cloud environment, and the results come back. And apart from that, there is a great advantage in using 3D printing technology for a prosthetic tool or a leg which can come out of a material which comes out of a refinery. And we will showcase that this leg today, if the government even supports, is more than 5 lakhs to 7 lakhs if someone, and the time is very high. But with this kind of technology of 3D printing, what we have seen, it is expecting to change the way the things can be helped to us. So with 5G, with IT and AML techniques, and the data which is available for them to compare the results immediately and give you the solutions, is where we find that our contribution to that sector, and maybe all other refineries where we adopted 5 of these initiatives in our refineries to be brought out. So I totally corroborate that, yes, it has an immense possibility in the health sector. Yeah.
Right, I think 5G and then the 6G is also on the anvil. Things can drastically change. Yes, thank you so much. I'll come back to you as well. Let's have a perspective from Prashant. Vashisht, he's the Chief Information Officer from Marengo Asia Healthcare. Again, the same question which I asked Praveen also, that for the healthcare sector, how the enterprise segment is unfolding in terms of embracing technology. If you can point out 1, 2, 3 points.
Thanks, Souvik. See, before COVID, the scenario was different, and COVID, wreaked havoc everywhere in the country. But there was a silver line, and silver line says, okay, this tech piece got changed. I mean, we had seen significant surge in technology-driven applications. You talk about teleconsultation, or you talk about AI, ML. People are more focused now. And I think post-COVID, everything changed. I have seen hospitals investing in multifolds post-COVID, because the demand straight away came from patients' end. Now patients are still avoiding hospital visits if not required.
Is it so?
Yeah, it's still happening. And we have seen a significant drop in OP numbers post-COVID. People are opting all online platforms. Patients are willing to get their sample collection done at home. They do not want to visit hospital. You must have seen many path labs have come up very strongly. Health checkup packages are happening at home. Even I do give my sample at home. So number one, the mindset got changed. Number two, the need came from patients, and that's where hospital management was bound to adopt technology piece. On top of everything, people have realized that it's gonna create impact on operational efficiency. It will create impact on quality side. It will enhance the operational efficiency as well. In many areas, I have seen like robotics changed all the dynamics. Now surgeries are happening through robotics. Now patients who are admitted in the hospital, they want to do everything from their bed. They do not want to use the primitive methodology of calling nurse. They are very specific now. Patient attendants want to give food order from the room. So all these things are happening, and the change happened from patient's end, from customer's end. And beside AI ML, of course, has added significant value in taking the decision. You see patient history, you see patient diagnosis, patient's results, and combine them and can figure out, okay, this is the possible disease, and patient might fall into so and so problem going forward. In our hospital, we have set up one technology. We are using IoT. We are using biosensors, and it's helping us immensely. Like system sends alerts for all ICU patients. If the condition deteriorates, my doctors, my nurses, my paramedic staff get to know everything then and there. So I think the modern technologies are playing vital role towards three major pillars. Number one, infrastructure. Number two, people. And number three, processes. People, process,
infrastructure. It's like people, policy, and innovation, as we say for the governance sector.
Yes.
I'll come to Rajeev because Rajeev also raised a very important point of data-driven decision making, banking on the outcome. But I, at the same time, also pointed out that when you talk about data-driven decision making, there are challenges also handling that data. So are we all, as an organization, well equipped with the new gen technologies for the analysis of that data so that we can have the desired outcome when we make that decision? So your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so you're right. So, once the data gets collected, so data could be collected from various sources. It could be a structured data, unstructured data. So once the data is available, now you need to, first of all, create a platform. Where would you bring this data? So, like we created a data lake, a data sphere where all this data comes and sits. And then once the data is collected, you need to really do some kind of analysis. Okay, so for that, we also created analytics layer and we used SAC for that. Now, see, this data is available, right? But it is practically impossible for a human to analyze this data. So it's a humongous data. So you need to have some kind of AI and ML algorithms which will work on this data, and then only it can give you the analytics and the insights which you really want from the data.
Right. Important that end of the day, we have to embrace technology to analyze that humongous data we are talking about, big data and everything. I'll come to Manish Grover. Manish, I think in today's age, when you're talking about digital transformation, handling data, we cannot shy away from the fact that cybersecurity is also an important aspect of, be it for enterprise sector, be it for government, be it for PSU. How do you think that when you talk about the capacity building for the workforce in terms of mitigating the risk of cyber threats for an enterprise ecosystem, if you can chart out one or 2 points that these two things are the need of the hour, this has to be done. So your thoughts on that?
Yeah, sure. I think when he spoke about data and monetizing the data or data as an asset and trying to put your legacy data into data which can be utilized for making the decision making, one of the key aspects you rightly touch, and for organizations like us, is the privacy and the cybersecurity portions. So as part of the digitalization, all the initiatives and the tools which have a touch base with the public, or IT was already efficient way it was being monitored throughout the company. It's the OT which wasn't there in the system at all. And OT, by the time it was only OT and not connected with any IT, it still remained in its very infancy. Add Windows 7, Windows 8 with a lot of things into it, which since they were not connected, it was not harmed. But today, with increasing trends to utilize this OT data to derive the information which is so good that I can make so much sense out of it in terms of optimizing operations, yields, and running my things so efficiently, the need of the hour is to make this integration a very secure integration, A. Plus, inbuild all my cybersecurity portions and the resilience into my systems. How I encrypt, decrypt my data, where the firewalls occur, and how this L1 and L2 levels are segregated in my OT systems, and the data being brought out to data management platforms, where I am then getting only that data which is required for doing my visualizations or the AML to be run on top of that. So we don't bring all the data there. And it is a role-based access after that within my own company. A person is allowed to do a certain thing, so they actually play around with a visualization tool like ClickSense and all, where they can slice and dice the data further also, how we can present to them. And for all public things, there is third-party audits which go on in terms of the VAPTs, which we regularly done every 6 months on all the tools which are running. And we had to still comply with the CIA regulations. So the regulatory bodies for companies like ours are very strong. My 6 refineries are CII, my pipelines are CII. So I really can't put that data in cloud. So all my initiatives run on-prem or on private cloud inside. And even there, I put all my things so that even if there is, I cannot sit in a thing, I put everything and it will not happen. It can still happen. And for that, the resilience has also been put up through air gap solutions where the applications are running. But at the same time, I believe that the way we look at data, that skilling of my manpower to prevent an attempt to go and open every link which is there, which is very lucrative links, is part of my way of teaching them. So all those things what we do internally on cybersecurity, the hackathons in terms of how to figure out whether it is a right link to open or not open, is part of our trainings which we do to all our people.
Right.
And that is where we have seen the results, and the results are then shared in terms of how many people actually fell for it. We never announce such things when we go for it in our companies.
Right. But I think it's a very important part you have raised, your last part of your statement, that giving training to employees that what to open, what not to open. Because I think if we see the data of recent cyber attacks, I think it is 80% of cyber attacks within organizations happen because of that a person not knowing or unknowingly opening a link or carrying out something in pen drive.
Because the threat can come from inside itself.
Inside,
It doesn't have to be an outsider. It can be inside itself.
Yes,
So
right.
you have to really believe that it can come from inside.
But, and
it
I
can
think
be residing in my system for some time.
yes, I'll come to Praveen ji also with the same question on cybersecurity. We all know what happened with the AIMS story, the incident which happened. By the way, I think the most two critical vulnerable areas in terms of cyber attacks, one is energy, critical installations, and one is health. One has been healthcare in India in recent past, in last 1.5 years. So for a hospital, data is like paramount. So what are your thoughts that what needs to be done more to mitigate the risk of cyber security, cyber threats for a hospital ecosystem, being a CIO?
So again, whenever it comes to having data in digital format, then obviously we do want us to have a quick access to the data, right? For good reasons. We would want us to be able to analyze the data. We want doctors to be able to see the data very quickly, relevant data, and all that. But then the flip side is not just for good reasons, for bad reasons also, people could have access to it. So how do we ensure that we have put in the right safeguards to prevent that from happening? So here also we have to look from both the perspective. One, how do you prevent that from happening? And also, if in case that happens, how do you then react to it? The responding to it also has to be thought of, because if suppose you are putting the best defense and then unfortunately you are attacked and you are in a very very tentative circumstance, you don't know actually what to do. You are panicking, and unless that has been planned out, unless that is also part of the strategy as to how you would respond, it would be too late for you to then start thinking what to do about it. So I would answer that both the things have to be thought of, and also we need to do a lot of drills, because what would happen sometimes on paper things are perfect. Okay, if this happens, I'll do this and this and this. But when in reality, when things happen, then we are panicking and our intellect doesn't work as well when we are in a situation like that. So that prevents us from following through the same document or same policy that we have worked upon to walk through it. So that reason I would say that both the things have to be taken care of. And with technology, even the cyber security threats are increasing, but the solutions also are equally, developing. So it's a very, very dynamic moving space where we have to be really, really watching out for any new technology, new tools, and working with vendors, because they are also on the forefront of how to prevent such things. So we have to work in a very collaborative fashion. Earlier, what would used to happen is, as a hospital, I would only be thinking that I know everything, kind of a thought process, and then working on it on my own. But now I think it is shifting where we do want to collaborate with more and more vendors, organizations. And fortunately, Amrita also has a university. We are part of a university, so we do have a research team that backs us, that helps us. And knowing with the advent of technology, actually we are going to start a BTech course in AI and medical engineering in our Faridabad campus. So just want to throw it out that we are seeing it so critical that, and we can see capacity being the bottleneck. So we want to have as many trained manpower as possible. So yeah, we are working on
capacity building, keeping in mind the dynamic nature of changing landscape in terms of cybersecurity. Chandanji, IT/OT convergence and cybersecurity. Your thoughts on that?
See, IT/OT convergence is basically one of the portions of the digital transformation. And as rightly pointed out, we have always been talking about IT, but OT we have been lagging, right? So in the digital transformation, let me give you an example that for us in our manufacturing processes, there is one critical testing which is done. We manufacture pipes, right? So the one critical testing is called the hydro test, where you push in water, create pressure, and see if there is any leak. Even if there's a pinhole also, it will burst out. So that is part of the OT thing. So unless physically something bursts out, you cannot visually see it. But within the parameters also, if there is a drop in the pressure or something, then one knows. So that is part of the OT. Now, how do you capture that in your, because you have to report. How do you capture that? Somebody goes, sees the OT, writes down all the things that this is the result, and then he goes and reports it to the lab or to the quality. Once you integrate that OT, this thing, automatically if there is something, a deviation, it will automatically come up from there. There will be an alert and an email will be shot with all the readings directly. So that IT/OT integration becomes very important, makes the process simple, and it's fast, right? Now, as far as cybersecurity, that is primary, threats are always there. So to mitigate that, you have to install all those things and then carry out a audit through a professional agency. But let me give an example. It is not that I protect my own ecosystem and I feel safe. It is also down the line, my associated vendors or customers, their ecosystem also needs to be highly protected. For example, we do a lot of export business. And after we have signed the contract and we decided to sell, so then there are agencies which handle, right? So the agency will take care of the shipments and deliver to the customer and then realize the money and forward it back to us. So we did one shipment, we sent it to the agency that this is the shipment. It should reach by so-and-so. On reaching, please wire the money to so-and-so bank account of us. A simple thing, a routine thing. The agents' systems were compromised. Okay. The day the shipment reached, as per the contract, somebody shot an email to him saying that I'm sorry for the current week, this particular bank is not working or not taking any of this thing. Please wire it to this bank. It was just because that particular agent was slightly sensible, and he called us over mobile and said, "Is it so? Do I transfer there or do I transfer here?" So we got totally. So your entire ecosystem has to be protected. Cybersecurity is not. That is one area which I wanted to highlight, which we have experienced recently.
Right. So entire ecosystem needs to be protected from the manufacturing level to the distribution level, and that has to be foolproof. I know there's nothing can be called as foolproof, but as much as we can, with as one of the panelists has rightly said that keeping in mind realities of changing dynamics. We have come to the end of this panel discussion, but quickly I'll take a perspective from all of you, maybe 20 seconds to all of you, that if I may ask you, if you can just point out one deciding technology or a trending technology which will be the deciding game changer for the enterprise sector maybe in next 5 years. I'll start with Prashant, Vashisht. 20 seconds to all of you.
I think Gen AI gonna play vital role down the line in 5 years of duration, and you know Gen AI is something which is fit into each and every area. I mean, you talk about from healthcare industry perspective, you talk about patient safety. Okay, this Gen AI can help. You talk about patient's diagnosis, or you talk about giving further treatment, or what's gonna happen down the line in 10 years, 20 years of duration. So there, I think AI gonna play vital role without any doubt.
Chandan, Sinha, your thoughts quickly, 20 seconds.
See, for us, basically, from a manufacturing industry perspective, we have most of our plants in remote areas. So for us, as a, in the, you know, in the cities and all the capital regions, etc., you have good connectivity. For us, the major challenge is remote connectivity at the remote. So 5G, etc., 5G, 6G, all looks fine, but still we are working with 3G and things like that. So for us, the next level of transformation would happen not only for us, but for major or 90% manufacturing industries, because most of them are remote for getting sales like all tax benefits and things like that. So that is one area which, when it comes up, would be a great boon for us.
Improving connectivity. So any technology which is there or will be coming will be handy. Praveen, Bist, quickly, from the hospital perspective, what can be the game changer technology which can change the ball game for the hospital healthcare ecosystem in the next 5 years?
Again, multiple things, but definitely Prashant rightly mentioned AI, but on top of it, I would also like to add lists like wearable devices, right? So that is where you're able to track your health better, and if same device can do multiple parameters, not just the basic one. So moving from invasive to non-invasive more and more. So if you're able to detect things more easily, you're able to generate that much more data, feed it back into the AI, and it's able to do a better analysis of it, and then come back to you with whatever, that you have this issue, and then it can alarm, it can send whatever signals, and report if need be. And then only other thing I would add is, finally, it's the human intelligence that is going to use all of AI, right? So AI can only be brought into our environment, and the scope will be limited by our own vision, our own thought process. So I think human intelligence and how it is able to leverage AI is what I would think is the future.
So human intelligence coupled with AI, that's your vision. Manish Grover, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think going by the perspective, we put a lot of bucks on Gen AI. For a company like ours, which is a lot into OT/IT, we already seen a lot of potential coming out of it, and that is one. AI/ML, we have seen the benefits, and 70% of our gains today are on that, and we will be working on that more with a lot of IoT and sensorization devices already available with us. So I put my bucks on that. Third will be my blockchain, where with the emerging way the things are, circularity of economy, the way it is working today, we will need to track each one of my actions back to the manufacturer level. That is where the blockchain will come in. And then the RPAs have got RPA with now AI/ML inbuilt into those systems. We have seen the results coming into my parts in a very big way in terms of automating my processes and making it very, very releasing my hours of mundane work into data-driven actions. So these 4-5 technologies, and as he rightly said, smart variables in refinery setup is extremely important. We have seen the impact of a smart helmet and a connected workforce going into refineries. And lastly, I'll like to agree that a better network of 5G, 6G, whatever it comes, will enable me to introduce many of my initiatives inside my zero zone in refinery. Today, lack of a network, credible network inside the refinery is not allowing me to do digital initiatives. It requires that network where I can't put a line there. But these technologies which we are playing around in Northeast today, in testing it out with BSNL, we have done an agreement. We are going forward with these initiatives. That is where I'm putting my bucks to.
Right, right. And Rajeev Taneja.
Yeah, I think for us, the most important factor is how we deliver value to all our stakeholders, be it our customers, be it our employees, or our dealers, suppliers. So, and how we deliver it, faster. So that is a more important thing. So I think for us, if I have to name one technology, it would be introduction of low code, no code technology, so that we can quickly develop programs and quickly deliver apps and portals which can be earlier it was taking a lot of time using old technologies. So now if we can deliver faster to them, I think it will be a great thing.
Right, right. Thank you so much. With this, we come to the end of this panel discussion of APAC CXO Summit and Awards. The first panel discussion of the day on outlining the roadmap for intelligent digital transformation of Indian enterprises. And if I may just summarize what we have discussed for the last 40 minutes or so, I think it's all about embracing newest technologies, keeping in mind the changing dynamics of the sector, but also keeping in mind the importance of human intelligence who can use that technology effectively. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us. A huge round of applause for all of them. And it's an honor to have all of you with us for the panel discussion. We have a small token of appreciation from our end to our digital transformation leaders from the enterprise sector. For that, I'd like to invite Mr. Gopi Krishna Arora, one of our co-founders of APAC News Network, to come on stage. And we would like to recognize the efforts of digital transformation leaders from various organizations who have joined us today for this panel discussion. Gopi, if you can come on stage, we can have the first award. So we are felicitating all of you with a special award, and we can start with Mr. Manish Grover, Executive Director from Indian Oil Corporation. Huge round of applause for him, please. Can we have that on screen, please, also? Yes, it's an honor to recognize efforts of Manish Grover, and we are proud to give him CXO Digital Transformation Leadership Award 2024. We are also recognizing Rajeev Taneja, Chief Information Officer, Honda Motorcycle Scooter India Private Limited, with APAC CXO Digital Transformation Leadership Award. It's an honor to recognize your efforts, sir.
Yeah.
We're also recognizing efforts of Mr. Chandan, CIO, Jindal Saw Limited.
चंदन सिन्हा लगा दूं ना बोल दे
With APAC CXO Digital Transformation Leadership Award. Can you have a huge round of applause for all our award winners, please? To Mr. Praveen Bist, CIO, Amrita Hospitals. It's an honor to recognize his efforts with CXO Digital Transformation Leadership Award. And to Mr. Prashant, Vashisht, Chief Information Officer, Marengo Asia Healthcare. Again with APAC CXO Digital Transformation Leadership Award. And we thank all of you for joining us today for this panel discussion. And can we have a group photo of all the speakers together? Gopi, please join us for the group photo.